I'll just highlight some of the parameters that that we use on a daily basis. All right. So for us, the most, I mean, with the bearish market conditions for the past 3 months or 4 months, what we are focusing right now is on the risk management side. So that's our number one priority, and I think we also recommend that for users, you have to make this as number one priority on the bots. So for the first op that we want to set up is the kill switch rate. So we usually set it at -1% to -3%. But this one will be dependent on the user's tolerance, loss tolerance. The idea here is that the bigger your amount maybe is, you can set it at lower percentage. So yeah. And then the next one is the price band, or the price ceiling and price floor. So these settings will prevent our Hummingbot to be manipulated to buy high and sell low. So this one is usually common on the low liquidity pairs. So for us, we usually set it at 3% to 5% for both ceiling and floor price. And this price band can be automated via scripts. So we actually use the price band script example in the Hummingbot code. So in this example, they have set like a price for upper band and lower band. But for our script, we have modified this script to use as a percentage. So here we added in a percentage of 3% for upper and lower band. And then for our script also, we add in a notification that if anything here is, we'll notify the operator or manager to what happened to the bot, whether the band has reached or not. So this one will be like, we set it, depend on us whether we wanted to set it to other values. So 3 to 5% or even 2% is also okay, depending on the market pair. And then the third one is the field order delay. So usually we change the value, the default value of 65 to change it to around 3 minutes to 6 minutes. So yeah, so the purpose of this one, so that our bot will not be manipulated frequently, because if any order is filled, then the bot will stop trading for the next 3 minutes or so. So we find it very useful for this this parameter also. So especially during high volatility period, then this field order will come into play. And then the next one is a balance limit. So for all our bots, we set the balance limit. Usually we add in $10 to $30 per pair. So yeah, yeah. By the way, this one is like the notification I mentioned a while ago. So, but this one should be 3% already. So for the balance limit, we set both that the quote and yeah, both tokens we set balance limit. Then you can see here the order amount is 6,000 Daffy, but our limit is just set around $10 or $20 only for the balance limit here. So both of these are important to set for us, so that the bots will not be able to accumulate more than what we wanted. So because we budgeted this pair to have both to have like for this case we'll have around $200 budget.
So Carlito, what does this mean? Usually adds $10 to $30 from order amount value. What does that mean?
This means we add in this usually the balance limit of this amount, so that in case that the bot will buy or sell something, we have something left. So these are the like the allowance for the bot, because we wanted the bot to have in every sell order field, we wanted the bot to have something left to continue with the placing orders both at the sell and the buy side. So at least there's something left, like $10 or $20, because sorry. Actually, I wanted to share the screen because I need to switch. Yeah, I think that's the idea here for the balance limit. Because let's say if our budget is $200, and then supposedly we have $100 for the sell and $100 for the buy, and then whenever the bot sell the $100, so we have another extra dollars for the bot to place the other order, so that in any case there is a amount left. So for the risk management side, these are the 4 parameters that we use for all our bots. Okay, for the next one, for the capital deployment, so we only have 3 here. For us, we initially set our order amount to $60. So $60 for one side. So this one will mean $120 for both sides, for the buy and sell. So that means we start with buying tokens initially. So we have $60 for the pair that we want to trade with, and $60 for the USDT. So we initially set this to 60, and then if the market is going up, so we're increasing up to 200 to 300, or up to, let's say, $600 for the whole amount. And then if the market goes going down, we decrease to 20 to 30. So this is how we deploy our capital. And then for the bid and ask spreads, we try to target 3rd to 6th position from mid price. So the settings will vary. It may be 0.05 or 0.5 or 0.8. For us, this we will just do an initial testing of the settings until such time we come up with the right position. So let me share let's say for this NEOX USDT pair. So when we initially set, we are targeting this position here, third from this mid price. We are targeting here at the minimum up to the 6th position here, 4, 5, 6 up to here. So we have this range from here to here, but later on the other orders will come in, so it will be 2nd or 3rd. But we know that from initial settings is like we have set it from here farther from the mid price. We avoid the 1st and 2nd because usually other bots will try to manipulate this position here. So last time we have tested this quite extensively and and noticed that we'll come up losing much if we are in this, when we set the bid spread or the spreads aggressively near the mid price.
Can I ask a little thing about this?
Yeah.
Why are you targeting position and not the amount of volume that's in between your order and the mid price? Because position, there could be a low amount of volume in between you and the mid price, and you still have the 6th position. While if you do it based on volume, that's more dynamic.
Yeah, because actually for volume, we don't calculate on the volume on the exchange, because our initial target is like $60. And then if, let's say that's why we also set this one as farther from the mid price, because of that aspect also, that let's say here will be like a dust or bait only for other bots. So that's why we set it here. Yeah, so we don't calculate based on the volume on the order book. next one is the order refresh time. So for the order refresh time, we usually set it to 65 or 1 minute, over 1 minute to 125 seconds or 2 minutes. The purpose of pushing this all the way later up to a minute is because we want to maximize the liquidity mining rewards. And we have also experience with last time with the API or API rate limit from exchanges. So for us is we have tested also this one with low settings such as 5 seconds or 3 seconds. But the probability that the orders will not be filled is actually low, very low. That it's not worth to have that low seconds refresh time. So and if we set that if we have set that 3 to 5 seconds, the liquidity mining rewards we notice is like considerably down also. So that's why to maximize our liquidity mining rewards, we want to make sure that that all our orders will get the mining rewards every minute.
Cgambit's approach is more towards, correct me if I'm wrong, markets on the liquidity mining page where there is a high yield of sometimes even over 1,000%, where the liquidity of the markets are very low and the movements or the volume of the markets is very slow compared to maybe some other pairs that are of a lower yield that are more liquid in the market that we have on our site. So just a context, and this is one of the approaches for pure market making for those high yield pairs with lower liquidity that Cgambit uses personally.
Yeah, that's right. So
Hey, Kawita, sorry, this ask you a question back to that page, the previous one you were just on. So when you set the bid-ask spreads between 3rd and 6th place, so that's when you first start running the bots, right? I guess how often do you check that? Do you try to check it and make sure you adjust to make sure you maintain that? Not next I think the next slide.
So this one, right?
Yeah. The 3rd to 6th position. Like how often do you update that?
No more. I mean, we update.
Oh, no? Okay.
I mean, we don't frequently update this one. Only at the initial starting of the bot, we set this because if we keep on changing this one, is quite laborious also for us to change every time. So we find it that when we set it initially, there's as long as we have this position here, 3rd to 6th, we're quite safe actually already until the volatility comes in the market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So usually we set this one time, and then when volatility comes, then we will try to change again for this one, but not as often as I mean, because usually this one will change, becomes 1st position or 2nd position. It's okay not to change every time for this.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then so here is for these two is that for us, for the pure market making or of the strategy, we are changing these 7 parameters only. So you can see here we don't use the skew or the hanging orders or other parameters. So only these 7 parameters here. Now, so let's go for the operational considerations. So for the profitability choice, we are aiming for the liquidity mining rewards to net positive on weekly basis. So actually the trades of our bots will be on the losing, always losing position. So, but we observe that when we aim for when we maximize the liquidity mining rewards, it can offset the losses. So we usually end up with a net positive. But we measure this on the weekly basis because there are times that one day the losses will be bigger, but we are able to recover it up until the end of the cycle, weekly cycle on the liquidity mining reward, on the liquidity mining. So to do this, we actually actively monitor the balances of exchanges versus the liquidity mining rewards. So that's how we determine whether we are losing or gaining positivity profitability. So we consider only this one, like mining rewards. And then for the second one, consideration is the mining pair selection. We actually prioritize pairs with 2% and above daily yield. And then we are joining also as many campaigns as capital can allow. So as long we prioritize the 2%. So last time when the Ascendex so many pairs, so this is our threshold, minimum threshold. But for now, it's not so many campaigns. So sometimes we're still joining the 1 point something percent. So in this example, we are joining what we mean for the yield is this part here. So for the Ascendex as of this time, we are joining all the pairs. We're joining all the pairs, even though some are only 1%. Or KuCoin also So this is what we look here, 2% threshold. If many campaigns coming, but we want to join as many campaigns as possible. Also, because some users have this concern that they are afraid to join the pairs that are not so liquid or low capital. But actually for us, it is an advantage to join it because the rewards are higher, and then it will also serve as a diversification. So let's say for this one, for the Ascend, I need to share so you can see the Ascendex page now. So here you can see that these are the pairs currently in the miner. You can see that they have different percentage gain or loss. So this itself will show you that actually all these pairs will not move on the same percentage. This acts as a diversification already on your portfolio on the mining campaigns. For us, if there are so many campaigns, we want to join them because the rewards will be diversified also, and let's say if BTC will move like this kind of movement, all of these pairs will not move also at the same direction. So some will move up, some will move down. So the losses and the rewards, the losses and profits will kind of offset from each other. So that's how we prioritize the liquidity mining rewards and join as many as possible. And then for the third consideration is for the type of market trend. So we have here uptrend, sideways, and downtrend. So I have mentioned previously is that if the market is in an uptrend, we kind of become aggressive on the market and we monitor it and we increase our order amount. For us, it's like up to $300. And for sideways, let's say sometimes we just have to go to the middle ground for us. So like 100 or 150. And if there's really a strong downtrend, we cut off our losses and order amount to up to $20 or $30. So there's also an option to stop bot, but for us we realize that stopping the bot is like stopping everything. Also, that you cannot gain any rewards, and so we still prefer to run bots with minimal order. So let's say for $20, because we noticed that some users or most of the users will stop their bots, but even if we just put in $20, we can gain more actually because some users already stopped their bots. So even if $20 we can recover faster. So another thing for us is the trend indicator. So for us, we only manually monitor BTC chart at 15-minute time frame, and then only concerned with long and red candles. So like this BTC in a 15-minute time frame. So usually we are concerned with this kind of movement. And then so if like this movement only for the past how many days, it's advantageous for liquidity mining. Yeah, so we have a simple system only in monitoring the market. So we just take a look at the BTC movement, and so for the profitability and losses. So in this, in our example, we have, because we are joining as many campaigns as capital can allow, there will be an escalated result in any strong trend. So we find that it's like if someone is not careful on using this strategy, you may end up also losing so much because of many campaigns that you join. And then for the profitability, you need to be aggressive and active during uptrend. And for the downtrend part, you need to avoid stocking inventory. So, all right. So as an example, this is how we monitor our balances and our profitability. So for each exchange, we just manually encode here the balances and USDT amount, and get IO here also, and KuCoin. So the 3 exchanges that we join in, and then this one will total up the capital. And then we also record manually the LM rewards, the liquidity mining rewards, and then it will help. So our losses also will just compute here. So you can see that even though we have bigger LM rewards, but the losses also is also quite big, but we still end up with a positive net on a weekly basis. So yeah, but this one is not the highest one. Some strong trend is the LM rewards will be higher than most. I mean, the losses will just be smaller than the rewards will be so high also. And then for the loss also, something like this also will happen during the December crash. That if we were not careful that time, then the loss also escalated in just a matter of just a day or two. So, but on the following days after the crash, we were not able to recover the loss during just for this 1 day or 2 days crash. So this is what the users need to be careful if they join so many pairs, that the losses will be escalating if they're not able to stop or to reduce the order amounts.
Hey, Carlito, can I ask you a question on that?
Yeah.
On the rewards, and maybe for others too, if you want to answer. When you receive rewards, do you just reinvest them back into your trading strategies? And then also, like if some of them are native token rewards, some of them are in token versus USDT, do you guys like rebalance that, or how do you handle reward payments?
Oh yeah, for actually, sorry, this one I forgot to mention first. We have like let's say if there's a sudden crash, we have like a crash vault. We're not going to sell the tokens immediately if there's a sudden crash, because it's like a caution for us. So we use this as a minimize. I mean, let's say we wait for recovery before we sell, and then for the for every rewards that, let's say this total rewards that we receive, we actually, for us, we have like a percentage that we use as an expense on our family on a monthly basis. So like it's like because Hummingbot or the liquidity mining rewards is like an income stream for us also, so it will help on our expenses. And then and also we have a percentage that we reinvest back to or we add into our capital also. So yeah, so it's depend on our expenses and monthly expenses. And yeah, so we usually use our rewards to invest back here. We add in on this one, on the exchanges. And then for the other tokens, usually for other tokens, we usually sell that one because we want to stock up on the USDT. On the USDT part, let's say for the FEAR or AXRD, XCAD tokens, we don't usually sell it on the day that we receive. I mean, we still try to sell it on the green markets, so we don't immediately dump. It depends on the market, because we have because for now most of the rewards are in USDT, so we have a more reserve on USDT. So we're not so concerned with the other tokens that we need to really sell immediately upon receiving them.
How about any of the others? You guys have a different approach? Are you getting more negative rewards? Is anyone doing anything differently you want to share?
Hi, my name is Jelle for everyone. I usually put everything back into Hummingbot, as I had a second job before, which I used to pay for all my expenses. So every reward that I get, I reinvested it to let it compound.
Would you rebalance like native tokens dollars or tether, or just like whatever you receive just goes as is?
It depends. Like I'm mainly running cross-case market making, so there's a cap on how much the order size can be. So if I can increase the order size and I get a native token, I will use it probably on that specific pair. But otherwise, I'll probably sell it for USDT and use it for on other pairs and campaigns.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah. For us, it's really helped that the more USDT are in the liquidity mining rewards are in USDT format. So
can I ask you one more thing about this slide?
Yeah.
Sorry. You mentioned that in an uptrend, sideways, or downtrend market, you change the order sizes, but do you also change the bid and ask spread accordingly?
No, not really. Because when we set it originally, we already set like the position that we wanted to have. So yeah, but because usually if they have this movement here, the tendency is that the markets move quite fast and we have many pairs to deal with. So that's why most of us cannot really have the time to change the spreads. Yeah.
Are you going to use the new trading view integration to maybe automate some stuff?
Yeah. I mean, actually, I have done scripts before with the dynamic changing of the order amount, but I noticed that when the trend stops or the price stabilizes, then the order amount still stays the same. So the liquidity mining rewards also will reduce. So that's the thing I noticed also. So that's why we just don't bother yet so much with the spreads. Only the order amount will change.
Okay, thanks.
I've got a quick question, Carlito. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yali.
Last one, and then I give it over to you. Do you use order levels as well? And why not, or why do you use it?
Yeah, initially last year I used the order levels, but for now I find it more. I mean, it's always based on this liquidity mining rewards, like maximizing the liquidity mining rewards. So I find it the order levels does not produce more rewards for us because the distance is like if you have one order level here, then the other here. These two distance will already affect the liquidity mining rewards quite considerably. So that's why if we just put in here all together, we gain more rewards.
Yeah, it's always a risk reward kind of thing because also you take on less risk because otherwise your order was being filled at a less beneficial price. But if you had order levels, you will have a more optimal price where you bought or sold the asset at. So you might get less liquidity mining rewards, but you also carry less risk, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
And quick one, Carlito, on the I think you managed the volatility risk with the kill switch. So you've got a very aggressive kill switch there, minus 3% or minus 2% you had. Does that mean that it triggers a lot? The bots shut down very frequently in volatile markets and you have to restart them?
Yeah, that's right. At this time, we are setting it at 1% because of there's more uncertainty here after these days. So yeah, frequently we kind of hit this and need to restart the bot. Yeah, so there's no way around it. But we just find it like psychologically it's safer for us to have this kill switch active, even aggressively. So because as I mentioned, is like we want to manage the risks. All right, so can I continue?
Go for it.
Yeah, all right. So for the bots management, I have already for the past, I think 4 or 5 months or so, I already have delegated to my wife and her sister, Dalsky and Jassy, for the management of the bots. So because I have I want to engage. I want to explore other things also with Hummingbot, so to do testings or to do other things. So that's why they managed for me these bots for the bots for the operation of the bots. I recommend them to check the bots every 2 to 3 hours. And also we have a slow period during time that they sleep. The management of the bot is actually need to have more time and attention for the strategy, because we want to ensure that both bid and ask should be up most of the time. So that's why they need to check. And then during uptrend, most of them will need to check, will be on the computer most of the time, because we want to maximize the rewards or the opportunity that the uptrend is giving us. So if, let's say, for downtrend, then they don't need to check this as often as possible. So they can just maybe check 1 or twice every 4 hours or something. And then for the hour tools, we have used Termius. We are using Termius. This one is a paid service, let's say approximately $20 per month. But this is, for us, is quite helpful tool for managing the bots. So I can just show you quite, let's see. Yeah, so can you see my screen? The Termius terminal. So what we like with this bot is that we can group up all the bots, let's say based on exchanges, or so we can group the bots here. It's easier for us because we can just say open. We can open together here. So yeah, so we can just start. So it's easier for us to manage is if we are using this one. And then another thing we like for this one is the built-in SFTP. So let's say if we want to put in the script or adjust the files, we can do so also here. So like the scripts, or usually we delete this one if there's some errors. So we usually delete these files. So we can do that here also in the Termius terminal. And then also for us is we have the team sharing. We get accounts for us to share. Then so whatever I set here, they can already see. So I don't need to set up one by one their computers.
Hey, Carlito, it looks like there's a mobile access for Termius also. Do you guys use the mobile, or is it all just desktop?
Yeah, this one they have the Android and Apple also. I have tested with the Android. Yeah, it's working fine also. You can access this one on the go. Yeah, so in the
Do you find that useful?
yes, quite useful actually, because there were times that I was away on the computer, then I can check on the bots, because the interface will be like this also on the mobile. So you have full control on the bots. You can change the settings, parameters, everything. So it's like you're in the desktop also, but you're using it on the mobile app.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so for servers, we are using cloud service providers like Lancel, Contabo, SSD, Oracle VM, and Linoids. So I try to diversify our service providers. So in any case one is down, then the other can still use, because last time when we have so many bots, then need to diversify. And then for the server specs, we have this usually the smallest. We are now doing the smallest servers. So 4 CPU and 8 gigabyte RAM. So for the servers, this is how we manage them. So, or how we allocate the servers. So mostly for the server of 4 CPU and 8 gig RAM, we allocate up to 8 instances. So mostly the limit there, 8 instances. Yeah, so this one different servers here. And then for the monitoring of the bots, we just use this Excel file, so that we will be note also the end date and the order amount and the rewards. So yeah, quite manual works, but works for us also. And then
Carlito, on the cloud servers, right?
Yeah.
So you had some that went down. I guess why wouldn't you is it like just some of them are unreliable, or are all of them sometimes unreliable, or like
no, usually
versus say finding one that's super reliable and just doing everything on one?
Yeah, I mean the server down or the connection error is most on the service providers. So it's not frequent, maybe 1 or 2 cases only, but I just find it to be good to diversify to different providers. Yeah, just to try out, because some, let's say for the Lansol part, Germany, their servers are in Germany. So frequently experience long latency.
Okay.
So yeah.
But you still use those? I mean, so if you experience latency, is it just for certain exchanges or like you're still using them, so it must still be okay to some degree? Like, why wouldn't you move
Yeah.
everything to something that's like, I guess, more reliable?
Yeah, I think it can still be useful this one because the price point is just quite cheap actually.
Okay.
And then for pure market making, you don't need really you don't need the high latency servers or network. So that's why the Germany servers can still work for us. And
Okay. So,
Contabo,
but I guess so. One of the main considerations, I would just cost. So that's one of the lower costs.
yeah, lower cost, yes,
Right.
correct. Yeah. So yeah, we have also higher cost servers like this one. But because this one I have signed up for 1 year, so this one is also we have 32 gigabyte RAM. But I just try to use this for let's say I just as a reserve a backup also for this CPU in case, because this one have different expiry dates. So some I will renew, some don't. So for the meantime, I can also use this one and add in more instance here. And also I tried the Oracle VM. This one is a free. They have a free service, so it's working fine also. Yeah, so we're ending ending part. So for our recommendation for the PMM users, we need users need to have active checking of bot status and maintain two-sided orders. So this one is the crucial part if they want to earn the liquidity mining rewards. And then need to adjust order amount and or spreads if they have the time during trending market conditions. So yeah. And then also the third one is to diversify or by joining as many campaigns as capital and time to manage can allow. So these three will be like critical part of the operation to really escalate your profitability. And then recommendation for CoinAlpha is if they can release the API for LM rewards at least, then it's like a game changer for us actually to have this API for LM rewards. So it's like, yeah, if we are able to get this amount, I mean, these rewards here, the earnings, then will help us because we are able to this one will be automated here, then we can see the profitability on a maybe real-time basis. So because sometimes this one my colleagues will not be able to update this one regularly, then we just be surprised at how come the profitability or the loss are great are bigger already. So yeah, if CoinAlpha can give the LM rewards API at least, then I think users can customize their own dashboards and can see the PNL between exchanges and liquidity mining rewards. And some users can also customize their logic for dynamic bot adjustments based on current PNL. So mostly they can adjust this order amount and spreads dynamically based on these rewards and exchanges balances. So for these three, AG Hunter is helping me with get the scripts so I can automate this part here also. So I don't need to we don't need to change these values here. So for the next one will be this one only. And then for devs and to provide and users.
Sorry, Carlito. So the
Yeah.
API, so that's just for the rewards for your bots.
Sorry.
So the rewards API you mentioned is just the recent rewards for your bots that you're running. So basically that chart, the raw data from that chart, you guys will want in API format.
Yes. This part here.
Okay.
Oh no, actually, sorry. Actually, this part here, because
Oh,
this
just
one is
just the total, the overall.
Yeah, total overall. Okay, sorry, this one. Yeah, because this one is our basis to calculate for this one, not P&L. So we add in then minus off here. So we can get this whether we are profitable at the currently or not.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's for like total like bird's eye view, high level. Is there value for getting the rewards per market? Is that something others want as well, or we think would be useful?
Yeah, I think it would be useful if you want to do profitability analysis for specific campaigns or markets, and then you can see which ones are generating more liquidity mining rewards, and then you can prioritize those, put more juice, more funds into those campaigns, try and maximize those. Definitely. Okay. +1 for me.
And the other thing, do you guys think it would be helpful to have APIs for overall campaign stats, like basically like the landing page? Okay, so basically like the markets page, like would it be useful to have the APIs to retrieve like all the campaigns, all the rewards, yield and stuff like that? Or is it more priority for you guys to have, you've already chosen your markets, whatever method you got there, you've already chosen your market, and the API is more to analyze your actual active bots on the markets you've already chosen and participated in?
There's a few other metrics that I would love. So one is the campaign end date. Currently, it gets updated sometimes and you miss it. You might have to extend it manually in the bot. So if you could monitor that automatically with the script and then shut down bots or not shut them down, that would be fantastic. And another thing is the spreads. So if you are going to try and adjust the spreads from the mid price, it would be good to see what the average bid spread is and what the best bid and the best ask is. So a few more metrics on the market side. Others probably have some other things that they would like to see, but I think there's definitely room for more than just rewards in that kind of API.
Yeah, and for this, the third recommendation is for the devs to provide and users to vote on. Maybe this one is on the foundation side for the devs. If they can provide a market order functionality to enable auto rebalancing of inventory. So this one is a big factor for maintaining these two-sided orders. Actually, I have made the help of Misui last time. We have, wait, I'm sorry. I need to share another screen. Yeah, so this script is actually like a rebalancing also. So let's say if if the buy or sell order is filled, then the new spread will change to 0.01%. So it attempts to like closer to market order, but we still place in the limit order of 0.01% only, which is the smallest percentage that we can set. But most of the time, this one will not work if the market is only in one direction. So let's say it's going up or going down, then even though we set it very small percentage, the bots is still not able to balance off. So I think for us, if there is a market order type of rebalance the inventory will be good, will be very beneficial. Yeah, so the point is that it will be less maintenance and less time consuming to operate the bots or the pure market making strategy. And also in this way, we can maximize the liquidity mining rewards because of these two-sided orders most of the time. Yeah, so yeah, this one we will have work with other devs also to get this functionality. But I think maybe this one is not so hard to do.
I think stuff like that, Carlito, one thing, maybe you can create a snapshot proposal, like improvement request proposal, and then because I think those that functionality seems relatively straightforward. So then it would be great to have community participation on that. That could be a task for a community developer.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. So these are our 3 recommendations, and then this one is just for the general reminders only, just to for everyone that for first one is to be open and share, open to share and learn with Hummingbot community. So I also realized that with this fellowship, there are some users that are really advanced in experience and specialties. So as a community, we can mind shift from competition to coordination. Yeah, so we took a first step to share our experiences with the settings and operation. So I'm giving back to the community as well. And then the second one is to participate in discussions and governance voting activities. So we have Commonwealth Forum and snapshots for voting. So we encourage everyone to really make use of these two because this is the only way that we can improve the Hummingbot code base. And then the third is like Darsky's reminder about giving value to our HBOT tokens because as a community, we can help make it valuable and valuable in a sense that we can just simply use it by voting to this governance activities. And then so this case here is like let's not be the one to FOMO when this project gets the attention it deserves. And we know it already that Hummingbot is going big this year or more years to come. Yeah, I think that's all for the presentation. And good luck to all.
Thanks,
Or
Carlito.
any more
That was
questions? Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, that was pretty helpful. Thanks for sharing that.
Can I ask a question, Cgambit?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Just want to ask regarding the losses that you've encountered last December, right? You encountered more than 2,000 USD
Yes.
losses, even though you have a kill switch configuration, 1 to 3%. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because actually for the December crash was like the first crash for our team to deal with. So that was like an experiment that time also that we tried to actually we have not changed the order amount yet that time because there was a bull run for the last 4 or 5 months before this crash. So we were not actually prepared to deal with any crash before this time. So that's why
So even though you have a skill switch configuration, 1 to 3%, you still encounter this loss, right?
Yes, because our mistake this time is that we were not changing the order amount. We thought that the crash will just will try to recover. I mean, we'll just recover. So we continue without changing the order amount. But end up that for the next few days, we were not able to recover the loss. Yeah. So that's why for us now as a learning experience is we need to be aggressive on the order amount change, especially on the downtrend.
So yeah, without the kill switch configuration, do you think your pool capital will be wiped out?
Sorry.
Yeah, without the if it happened, for example, you don't have a configuration for kill switch, and the market crash. So I'm just thinking if probably you've lost your pool capital. Like you encounter this loss. You encounter this loss with those kill switch configuration. So yeah, just nice to note though that it's a nice feature to always include in our bots.
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for sharing all this experience, and finally I can know who is Kasky, which will give me more motivation to compete. I'm Wojak by the way.
Hey, Wojak.
So I just want to say thank you for this, and nice work. Yeah,
so I think the takeaway mostly is on because I think most users will be more concerned of the parameters, but actually for us it's more on the operational side, especially this one, gaining the liquidity mining rewards, and then this part also here, how we deal with the market movements. Whether we have experimented a lot on these market crashes, and for us is more effective is on doing this part here, more aggressive on the uptrend. And then downtrend we just reduce our exposure.
I got one more question. Maybe what is your net percentage of your rewards that you're actually having as profit? So what percentage of the rewards do you account for as profit after trading losses? What is a general rule or target that you target?
Actually for now is, we've been through the worst crashes for the last few months, and we don't have the rule set yet on how much we need to lose. But so far, this rule is working so good for us. Even just a simple rule of this, having the order amount as low as possible. But we still continue with the mining operation. We also tried stopping the bots, but we find we're missing something. So that's why we still prefer, even though the order amount is this one only. So that's our simple rule to, yeah. For now, I'm not sure whether in the future we need to change this one.
Now,
I mean,
how small do those order amounts get? Do you sometimes like get down to like, you know, like 1, 2 tokens, or is it still enough to compete in the mining rewards at all times?
Yeah, based on our experience, even with this amount and during downtrend, yeah, we still can net positive, but the profitability will be smaller. We tested this one, but we are unable to recover anything that we lost already, because usually crash comes down quite drastically or like instantly. Then on that part we lost. But if we stop the bots, then it's like no more income for us. Yeah, so that's why we prefer running. Then we just need to monitor this one here, and this three, all this like we need to monitor all this one. So that's the thing. So that's why if this one can be automated, then it's easier to monitor, and maybe we can be more profitable also, even if downtrend. Yeah, mostly because most users we notice that they will stop their bots or automatically stop already during downtrend. So we noticed that the mining rewards is still bigger, even though our order amount is smaller. So that's the observation that we get during these crashes.
Even in downtrends, just like if you're able to somehow offset the losses with the liquidity rewards, because you got to think too, like maybe in a downtrend, there other people are pulling out, so that $20 you're putting in could go a lot further, you know, in those market conditions versus others, because like other bots maybe, you know, getting the kill switch is triggering, but you're still there with, you know, the $20, and that could be, you know, for that time being could be capturing a decent bit.
Yes, we are able to recover just quite slowly during this time. Yeah. So, but we still need to monitor all the balances in the exchanges and here the calculation. So, if really, but there was no time that it's not able to recover because you see. So just based on this Asandex part, other pairs will start to. We can see that if other pairs are starting to go up on the percentage, then we can jump in with bigger order amount already. So it's like if we are completely out, then there's a tendency that we don't monitor anything already. So that's why I still recommend that my team to still go in with mining, and then if we see something in the pairs that are going up, starting to go up or recover, then we can easily increase our order amount. Yeah. Anything else?
I have a question. Do you use the inventory skill to like balance your order amount, or you just use script to change it?
Sorry.
Yeah. So I just want to ask if you use the inventory skill feature in the
for now, no more. Last time I experimented also with that feature, but yeah, because for us we need to have like maximize the rewards because sometimes the skill parameters is unable to catch up with the order amount. So meaning to say that it will take more time for the skill to really be filled. I mean, the skill adjustment will take some time for the so I find it quite slow to adjust because so that's why I don't use the skill anymore.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So let's say the idea is, let's say we are using $100 for each pair, then we want to have a order amount $100 for each side, because sometimes for the skew is let's say $10 only, then it will take some time to reach $100. So for us, it's not maximizing the liquidity mining rewards. So we prefer that the order should be at what we desire most of the time. Let's say at this level.
Just a heads up, this is not financial advice, and this is an approach by Cgambit, who has his own approach for managing the bots, and it's related to the pairs that he's targeting, the amount that he's putting and the effort that he's putting into managing the system. And so please take this as an advice only, like not financial advice. So and also this is one of the first sessions that we're doing on public, where we have traders sharing about their thoughts and experiences. I was wondering whether this format, or if this is helpful for you guys, and what types of topics or other things that you would like to learn more about, and see if anyone has any thoughts or anything.
I just want to quick question about it. I just joined in about this Hummingbot thing. I was being recommended by Cgambit. Just quick one. Currently, I'm using 3 comma. Is this something like I could drive in with something similar what they're doing? I'm just curious about it.
Are you talking in regards to like directional trading?
Yes. Right now, I'm using 3 comma as my own sort of a trading bot on the back end, but I used to be using the MetaTrader, but I shifted to 3 comma because of the integration with the trading view. I saw something, there was a discussion before that it was mentioning that we could put a hook up with this tool going to trading view. I was a bit curious about that. So is it something similar on what 3 comma is doing with Hummingbot? I'm just comparing on these 2 products though.
Well, I think more of what 3 commas is doing is more directional. So like you have say a strategy on TradingView that says buy 100 shares, sell 100 shares. You can use that strategy in conjunction with 3 commas and trigger those actions. Where this is a little bit different is that Hummingbot is like an HFT bot. So it's constantly placing, removing and replacing orders on the books, generally on both sides by default. So yes, there's integration with TradingView, but it's more it's going to be more modifying these parameters, which I'm sure will be expanded upon in the future. But it's more on the HFT side than the directional side.
So I was just going to add to that. So like Hummingbot, the kind of specialties Hummingbot is market making. So a lot of the 3 commas and other bots, like Owen said, are more directional. So they spend the bulk of their time evaluating markets and deciding when to trade, and then generally placing ticket orders. So buying when there's time to buy, and selling when there's the time when the bot decides to sell. From an execution standpoint, that's actually very straightforward because you're in the market on exchange very briefly at specific points in time. The thing with Hummingbot, which is harder, and there's not really any other bots that do this, it's acting as market maker, is you're constantly placing orders and you're managing the order life cycle. So you're placing orders, checking have they been filled, have they not been filled, partial fills. Also, you get to refresh pricing, all that kind of stuff. So it's constantly active and creating orders in the market. So most of the other trading bots don't really do that. And the other thing with Hummingbot, what differentiates it as well, is it's also integrates with DEXs. So we're releasing Gateway V2 like imminently, like in the next week or so. And so what you can do there is arb strategies between DEXs and different venues. So that's another thing that's quite unique to Hummingbot, is the ability to kind of bridge different trading venues, both centralized, decentralized, stuff like that.